And welcome to the Wall Street Pub and Grill for the Gary Goff Show, your weekly look at Tiffin University football. My name is Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons, alongside Tiffin University head football coach, Mr. Gary Goff, who's sitting here with a 1-0 record. Coach, congratulations with your Week 1 win.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We're back here at the Wall Street Pub and Grill again for the wing special, our second night here with the show, coming to you live from the Wall Street Pub and Grill. And last week was a really good time, standing room only. We got to bring more tables in, so off to a good start here for the Wall Street.
Absolutely, I like the new setup. We know on campus, easy for our student athletes to get here, and a lot of the administration can just walk out of their offices and right into the restaurants.
Right. They're probably coming over here anyway, so they might as well come and watch Coach's show. Well, the Dragons took on Northwood last week. This week we'll be on the road, our first road contest of the year, as we go to Mercyhurst, who tangled with another GLIAC opponent, Hillsdale, last week. They had a big weather situation at halftime. We're not even sure if they're going to get that game finished. We'll touch on that a little bit later. But first, let's talk about your Dragons. We'll talk to one of your student athletes here in a little bit, who was really one of the guys who was a big spark plug for you early on in the game, Mr. Tyler Denton. We'll talk to him in a little bit, but first score of the game, the Dragons, Tyler Denton, a 3-yard pass from Nick Watson. Nick had a heck of a game. Tyler had a heck of a game. He had 3 receivers hovering right around 100 yards there by the time it was all said and done. Let's talk about that opening score.
No, it was a great start for us. We got the opening kickoff, and we went down in 11 plays and scored on the first drive. And that scoring drive was really set up by a great throw by Nick to Tyler Denton down the sideline right there for about a 35, 40-yard gain.
Yeah.
And then it kept 2 plays later. Nick found Tyler in the corner of the end zone for the first score, but couldn't be more pleased on how we opened up the game. And for the first game of the season, for us to have an 11-play drive and a score, that was fantastic. We were talking before the show last week. I was just, hey, I hope we're, don't shoot ourselves in the foot. I hope we protect the football. I'm worried about some of the little bitty things, but the guys really showed up, and that opening drive, it really reflected all their hard work in the offseason.
Well, we've been doing this for too long, because you just answered the question I was going to ask you about how did it feel, seeing your kids come out there and put together a real drive, 11 plays, 75 yards, right off the get-go, and nothing, and as well, you're putting Northwood behind the 8 ball right away, a quick early 7-0 lead, but the Dragons weren't done there in the first quarter. Kyle Brunson got to start a tailback for you on Saturday night, and he wasn't the only tailback to do some good things for you. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well, but after a 9-play, 80-yard drive, so your 2 drives, 11 plays, 9 plays, 75, 80 yards, and this one takes 352, and the Dragons, with the 2-point conversion, was a little surprised. You caught me off guard with that one to take a 15-0 lead.
I thought the entire team did a great job putting Northwood kind of behind the 8 ball early. So as soon as we scored, defense went out there and got a stop right off the bat, gave us some pretty good field position, and then we went 9 plays and scored yet again. And then, we got the 2-point conversion, which, going up 15-0, if you're, down 15 points, you're sitting there wondering, all right, where and when will we have to go for 2 or a field goal or whatnot. So the start of the game was, we couldn't have scripted it any better.
Well, then we got to credit Northwood, though, for getting a late score in the end of the first quarter, towards the end of the first quarter. Corey Birdgick, an 18-yard run, a 5-play, 56-yard drive going in a minute 38, and at the end of the first quarter, the Dragons took a 15-6 lead.
Yeah, and like I said, you're playing a triple option team, somebody that likes to run the football and put you in some tough situations and force your defense really to play assignment sound defense. But for us to get up early and have such a fast start, that kind of makes them kind of change some things they want to do.
Were you expecting them to play 3 quarterbacks?
No, and I don't think they expected to play 3 quarterbacks. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if their starter got banged up or not. But there in that fourth quarter, you're right. They put in another 2 quarterbacks. Yeah.
Well, the Dragons got the scoring started in the second quarter as well, as Joseph Metcalf was good from 32 yards out, a 6-play, 19-yard drive, taking 3.5 off of the clock, and the Dragons now up 18-6 and not done yet in the second quarter.
Yeah, obviously wanted to walk away with points in that, score right there. But, as long as we're ending every drive with a kick, and preferably kicks that are putting points on the board, then we're doing pretty good as a team, and again, that was a score set up by defense. Defense getting a stop, giving us good field position. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they might have got a turnover leading into those 3 points.
Yes,
right
I believe
there.
You're right. Yep.
And again, couldn't be proud of our defense. They got 3 turnovers in the game, and we didn't turn the ball over any. And again, exactly how you want to start a ball game.
Well, a turnover battle is absolutely huge. You can point to W's and L's, and they'll reflect directly what the turnover battle says a lot of the times. And get a 3-turnover advantage in a contest, especially when you don't turn the ball over yourself. That's a great way to start the 2018 campaign. Another wide receiver had a good game for your Dragons. Victor Talley caught a 7-yard touchdown pass from Nick Watson, a 6-play, 21-yard drive, 318. Another short field. This time you punched it in for 6.
Absolutely. I thought Nick made a great read right there. Tyler ran a great route, and that's something we work on quite a bit right there, that throw. And, he went up over the defender, made a spectacular.
That's the corner of the end zone on the north end of the stadium there?
Yes. Yeah, went up and made a spectacular catch right there and, giving us yet another score before half.
25-6, the Dragons had the lead at the half, have things in control, a 19-point advantage. It was a Saturday night, and it was a lovely night for football down there at Frost Cow Stadium. And in the third quarter, the Timberwolves decided to get the scoring started. Jalen Lewis, a 6-yard run after a 5-play, 66-yard drive, taking 2:16 off the clock, and the score is 25-13. But the Dragons come back early in the start of the fourth quarter. A Charles Holland 75-yard pass from Nick Watson, another 2-point conversion. This time, A.J. Nikolai took care of it. A 3-play, 83-yard drive, 49 seconds taken off the clock, and Charles showed his speed on the outside on that play.
Yeah, you're skipping a bizarre play in the game of football, that right at the end of the second quarter. When we had the illegal touching and the ball, Northwood fumbled a pitch, and we went to scoop and score, didn't get it. Then we had a safety try to get it and kind of swatted it instead, and they threw a flag on us. And kind of bizarre moment because I've coached for quite some time now and never seen anything like it. But we had a chance right there if we'd have fell on that ball, to get more points on the board right before half, and that could have put us up, 32 to 6 at the time, but a really good lesson for us to learn right there. Just if you can't scoop it up the first time and score, fall on the ball, because not only did they get the ball back, but they got a penalty against us from the spot where they previously had it. So it was almost a 25-yard swing right there, and they had the ball at midfield just right before halftime. And I thought our defense did a great job right there, keeping them from scoring right before half.
Absolutely right.
And there's a big stat out there that if you can score right before half, and then you're getting the ball at the start of the third quarter and score, you got like a 90% chance of winning that game.
Absolutely.
So that was a big play right there for us defensively to stop them.
And we were able to watch your conversation with the officials on for our rebroadcast from the Great Midwest Digital Network. We'll talk about the Great Midwest Digital Network, where our broadcasts are located here towards the end of the program. But that was absolutely right. It was a huge, and I'm still confused. You've explained it to me twice here tonight, and I'm still confused by it a little bit. But back to the action. Okay, so the Holland 75-yard touchdown catch, and then Northwood comes back. Christian Marty, a 14-yard pass from Joe Garbarino, and they cut the lead to 33-20, and then Northwood scores again, a 6-yard touchdown run to make it 33-27. Think, what's going on here? Here comes the Timberwolves, but then the Dragons put it away on a nice touchdown run. It's kind of one of those plays that's kind of puts the game away. Tylen Rice, the freshman running back, from 41 yards out.
Yeah, I really thought the offensive line did a great job all night in the run game, and we just stayed with it, and then, saw that big run right there pop right when we needed it to. And, you got a running back right there for his first collegiate score. It was a 40-yard run right there to really give us the lead for good. But, you got to give, Northwood credit. They're a team that they're a little bit resilient. They're not going to stop. They're going to continue attacking. And, again, a little lesson for us to learn. Don't relax. We got to continue, playing like the score's 0-0 every snap and worry about the score at the end of the game, not thinking, well, we got this one in the bag.
Well, it is in the bag, though. It's done. 40-27. The Dragons get the big victory to start the season. A lot of offense. I know you like, you're an offensive guy. 40 points probably in that goal range, I would think, for your offensive squad. 27. I'm sure you probably want to bring that number back down just a little bit, though. We'll talk to somebody about that a little bit.
It depends who you're asking, I guess. But, honestly, I could care less about any of the stats as long as we get a W. And that's what it's about. And we understand this is a team sport, and there's going to be games where we might win those games, 52-53, and there might be other games we're going to win 3-0. Don't really care. We need each other and special teams to play a big part of the game. So, I really thought it was a great team win. I thought defense had their hands full with this triple option. And they did a great job getting the guys prepared, and the players did a great job knowing their assignments. And, so I couldn't be more pleased with the way we started that game, the way we finished it.
Well, Mercyhurst this weekend, it's not a conference game. They compete in the PSAC, but they took their team up to Hillsdale over the weekend and played Hillsdale pretty tough. They had their chances. That's one great thing about this Great Midwest Digital Network. I've already watched that game. So I have done my homework on our opponent this weekend. So I gotta love that. But it's a pretty good, pretty decent team you're gonna see this weekend. They got good size in our offensive line, and got a couple guys, a big fullback I noticed as well. Got some skill guys that can do some nice things.
No, they're a good team. They really are. They had a bizarre game. I don't think they started the second half until 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
They had tornado and lightning, strikes and all that
came
stuff.
in during halftime.
Yeah, so what a crazy game. But they got an all-conference tight end. They got a big physical offensive line. They got an all-conference corner. Their linebackers are lining up everywhere and bringing pressure from all angles. So, it's going to be a great challenge for us. It really is. We're not very familiar with them because we haven't played them before, and they have not been in the GLIAC for some 10, 15 years, whatever it's been. But, notoriously, they've been a very, very good program. The coach there has been there for a long time. It's going to be their opening game.
Yep.
So we're going to go into a hostile environment and have our hands full without a doubt.
First road game for some of your young Dragons as well. It'll be always nice to see how they react with the first time they go on the road in big boy football environment, right?
I'll let you know if it's nice to see afterwards, right?
We'll see. We'll be at Mercyhurst. The game's at 12 noon this Saturday in Erie, Pennsylvania. Our pregame show will go to 11:30. You can catch a replay of the Gary Goff Show at 11 o'clock, and I'll be there with your play-by-play starting, as we said, at 12 noon. Should we invite Tyler Denton up?
Let's bring him on up.
Tyler Denton will join us here on the Gary Goff Show. Wide receiver for the Tiffin University Dragons. Tyler, welcome in. How you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing great. How you doing today?
Doing very well. Thanks for joining us here on the Gary Goff Show. And we said when we mentioned your name when we were going through the scoring situations there from Saturday night, we mentioned how you were a big spark plug early going for the Tiffin University Dragons. And was that something you wanted to do for your offense and your team, to go out there and kind of put your stamp on the game early? And
yeah, my team is first, and we just execution. That's all we do all day is just execute. And throughout practice, throughout the week, we just had great focus, and that's just something I want to do early, just make a statement.
Well, your wide receivers as a group had a really nice game on Saturday night. And talk a little bit about what you saw from your fellow wide receivers as well.
We just dialed in every day of practice throughout camp. We were just tired of going against our own defensive players and ready to go out against Northwood and just go as hard as we can every play.
Your quarterback had a pretty nice game. You got a conference offensive player of the week. Our first week at the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. Talk a little bit about the game Nick had. I mean, you saw the ball coming to you. There wasn't many balls that were, from my view, that looked like they weren't where they were supposed to be.
Yeah, Nick's a leader, and he's on us every day. So I knew that he was going to play great. There's no doubt about that. And just throughout practice, it's just he's on our tail every day. So we are great because of Nick.
And I think it sounds like he does that because he knows if you guys are getting better, it's only going to make him better as well.
Yes.
Let's talk about your path here. You were transferred, right? Was it Indiana State?
Yes, Indiana State.
I remember some of them. So you came to us 3 years ago?
Yes.
You got here. That you had you had an injured season when you were here, where you missed some time, but you're doing good, feeling healthy nowadays, right?
Yes, sir. Through treatments and getting better rehab, I got.
Also, you look good on Saturday night. You look like you're feeling real good Saturday night.
Thank you.
He looked fast, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Our skill guys, I'm telling you, it's a different world from from where it started, from what you've done here. Our skill guys are just, it's real deal football players we got out there now. Right here's another one of them right here, Tyler Denton.
No, I'll tell you what, they did a great job making plays Saturday and catching the football. I thought Nick did a great job of delivering the football. He was 82% completion percentage, and usually when you see that, it might be a quarterback that was, attempted 15 passes or whatnot, but, Nick was 24-29, and he made some good decisions, but he was 24-29 because these guys caught the daylights out of the ball.
Absolutely. Well, when it was time to pick a new school to go, tell us how Tiffin University got on your radar and how you ended up here.
Well, after Indiana State, they kind of hit me up through a text message, and I was interested. I looked them up on the website and everything, and I knew that they were a passing offense, and being a receiver, that's something you look for. And so when I came up to visit, I seen that the coaches were nice. Everybody they seemed to enjoy me, so I just kind of bought in.
One of my former players was the offensive coordinator at Indiana State at the time.
All right.
So when Tyler was looking to transfer, that gentleman reached out to me and said, Coach, I got a player. I got somebody who can help you.
Right.
So,
Well, you mentioned being a wide receiver, coming to play for a guy who was a wide receiver himself in an air raid offense. You know his saying about run plays, right?
Yeah.
He's got two of them, running on the field and running off the field. So
not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's talk about that. How does that, having a nice, steady, and very productive run game help you guys out in the passing game?
It brings the safeties down and it brings the linebackers in. That way we can go over top. When the safeties are back, it's kind of hard to get the deep game going. But with the run game, it's very, very nice when the safeties come down. You can just go right over top of them.
Right. Well, you beat an upperclassman. You're two freshman running backs. Got a lot of playing time on Saturday night. We're did a really good job. We're very productive. How proud were you of the young guys on Saturday night?
I told one of the guys after the game, great game. Like, he had an awesome game, and just at the end, kind of towards he didn't have two hands on the ball, and I yelled at him, like, put two hands on the ball, like, because we got to win this game. And so, and like, he listened. Like, he's not really a selfish guy. He's a team player as well, and we dialed in with him.
It's nice to have team leaders like this, right, Coach Goff, who will remind the young guys about putting their two hands on the ball. It's nice to have young guys who will listen.
We're holding everybody accountable. So
We're talking to Tyler Denton, Tiffany University wide receiver, this week on the road here for the Dragons, going up against Mercyhurst. You know, a lot of unknowns this year with the new conference. You know, a couple familiar opponents in Northwood, you know, in Hillsdale, some of the schools we've ever played before. But new conference, new challenges this year, and you looking forward to some of these new challenges, some people, some places you haven't seen maybe before?
Yes, I'm always up for a new challenge, and I know the team is as well. The main focus is about us and paying attention to the details this week, because we believe we can beat anybody in the conference.
Well, you guys look pretty good on Saturday night, I can tell you that. But let's talk a little bit about your defense. Your defense went out there and got you guys 3 turnovers on Saturday night, and your offense did not turn the ball over. That has to feel good when your defense can give you short fields. You had a 19-yard scoring drive and a 21-yard scoring drive.
The defense, they're very hard and disciplined. That's what their main focus is. They're very disciplined, and they don't really mess up too many assignments. That's why in practice it's hard to go by them and score on them, because they're real disciplined and detailed.
Who's the defensive back on the Dragons that gives you the most fits in practice?
Kevin Hyde.
Kevin Hyde?
Yes.
All right. And who's the biggest jokester in the wide receiver room?
I would say myself.
Yourself?
Yes.
Yourself? How about out of the coaches? Who's the biggest jokester in the coaches room?
That's a hard one.
It's a hard one.
They're all very serious.
As they should be. As they should be. Coach, anything else for Tyler here this evening?
no, he's been a pleasure to coach and have around, and he's one of those guys that comes to work every day with a great attitude and trying to get better. It's nice to see him in a leadership role for some of these young guys to look up to. But it's going to be a fun year. These receivers kind of feed off each other.
Yeah.
Kind of see one guy make a play, and then they want to make a play and not let each other down. So we're very early in the season. We've got a long way to go, so it should be a lot of fun.
You like this leadership role? Like taking on the leadership role as an upperclassman?
Yes. We had something called the program over the last spring, and it kind of really helped me to be more of a leader and more vocal towards the guys, so that we can be a championship team.
Did you get a chance to participate in some of the off-the-field stuff with the football program this year, some of the community outreach stuff? Could you talk a little bit about some of the things you were a part of?
Oh yeah. We have our victory day, and that was like where we helped the underprivileged kids.
It was amazing.
Yes, it was amazing. I just like seeing the smiles on their faces.
And then, what are you studying here?
Software development.
What's your plans when your football career is over?
My plan is to go back to Cincinnati and find a job. I got a wife, so I'm trying to provide for my family.
Absolutely. Yeah, you better get a job. You better provide.
Life is fixing to happen for him real fast.
Yep. Happy wife equals happy life. Just remember those words.
Yes.
His name is Tyler Denton. He's a senior wide receiver for the Tiffin University Dragons. Tyler, thank you so much for your time. Have a great night and have a great year, all right?
Thank you for having me.
Tyler Denton, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to invite up now our defensive coordinator, Mr. Mike Yeager. First year on the staff. Coach is, there's always change in football staffs and everything, and Coach Yeager, his first year on your staff. Why don't you talk a little bit about what it was with Coach Yeager that made you want to bring him in?
It's kind of a funny story. I don't know, 7 years ago, I was looking for a defense coordinator and kind of went through the entire state of Ohio looking for some up-and-coming defensive coordinators, and somebody gave me Mike's name, said, hey, why don't you call Mike? He's a great coach. So I gave him a call. He had just taken a position as I think at the time, DC at Carthage, right? And I said, Gary, I'd love to talk to you, but I just took this position. I really can't do that. He goes, but I got a guy who worked under me. I think you should call him. And that was Seth Durr.
Oh, Coach Durr, yes.
Durr was our defense coordinator for 2 years before he got a head coaching job. And so I call Yeager back again and say, hey, man, I'm looking for a guy. He said, I got just the guy for you. And that happened to be Matt Edwards.
Oh, my goodness.
So
I didn't know all these.
Yeah, so when Matt got hired by Tennessee,
right.
Yeager calls me. Hey, I know you're going to call me. I go, hey, Yeager, I need to pay you to be a headhunter for me. And he said, Coach, I think I'd like to talk to you about the position. And I'm like, get out of here. No way. But long story short, we met and talked about some things, and it worked out. And he was the head coach at the time over at Carthage. He's from Ohio, so it's great to have him back in the state. And I'm lucky to have him on staff.
Awesome. Well, Coach Yeager, welcome to Tiffany University. Welcome to the Gary Goff Show. Thanks for being a part of the show tonight.
I appreciate you guys having me. It's great being here.
Is this all true? You basically were the defensive coordinator, recruiting coordinator for Coach Gary Goff. You've hooked him up with a couple, and then finally you're just like, wait a minute, why do you keep sending these guys there? Why don't I just go take care of it all by myself?
Yeah, no, I've known Seth Durr and Matt Edwards for a long time, and it both worked out. They both had a great experience here. I was looking to get back into scholarship football and back in Ohio, and worked out great. It's been a great experience so far. It's been great since last February.
I think I still owe him like a case of wine or something. Because when I hired those guys, I'd call him back and say, I owe you.
Right.
Headhunter fees are usually like 10%. So.
That's fairly low. You can pump that up a little bit. But no, those are two good football coaches. Those are two really good guys, too, that you had working underneath you that you sent here. So there must have been something about those guys that you knew would work well with Coach Goff, and that probably reflects off of your personality as well, because obviously you knew you would work well with Coach Goff.
Well, that's really important. I think when you have a coaching staff, you got to get along. You got to surround yourself with good people. We spend
a lot of time together.
Long hours together, and if you don't enjoy being around people, it makes it tough. So it's been good being around good people.
Talk a little bit about his defensive philosophy, probably pretty similar to what you had going on here before, but some small changes, but the kids bought in right away?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. Some different terminology or whatnot, but, they're from the same coaching tree. They played college ball together. They worked on the same staff together, so there's a lot of similarities. And I think our defense, picked up really quick in the spring and then through summer, and, we looked good Saturday, so I plan on keeping looking good.
Right. So when did you actually get to town?
I think late February.
Late February, so you had to hit the ground running.
Yeah, no, so we got right into spring ball. 2 weeks later was spring ball, and finally got the family over in the summer, so it was a hectic time. It was fun and chaotic, but it's been good to finally be here.
Kids put in all the hard work that you asked them to here in the fall camp?
Yeah, it's been great. Even since the spring, and it's been nice. Like I said, following Seth Durr and Matt Edwards, those guys have been well coached. They're used to being coached hard, so they've embraced it and done well. I thought we did a nice job on Saturday, and I think that's a credit to all the hard work they put in the spring and the fall.
Mercyhurst a different animal, though, this week? Different style offense you'll be facing?
Yeah, last week obviously was the triple, so it's been completely different, and to go from fall camp to really getting ready for them, and now you go back. And, we forgot a lot of our rules on Monday, Tuesday, but we were much better today, so it was good. And, looking forward to getting back to playing, normal football, for lack of a better term.
How did your defense grade out when you looked at the film?
Pretty well. In terms of our goals, we did okay. Not exactly. We didn't get them all, but we did a great job forcing turnovers. If you can force 3 turnovers, you're having a good day. We did a great job on third down. We were 7 of 10 on third down, and we were 2 for 4 on fourth down. Those are going to be our 2 big emphasis every week, are forcing turnovers and being great on money down. And that's what we call third and fourth down. And then, we did a nice job against the run. Didn't do a great job. We held them to 82% of their average. We want to be at 79, so we were close. But we did a lot of good things.
So not only does he send you good coaches, then he comes here himself. Then he gets you 3 turnovers the first game. So he has pretty high standards. You're going to hold him up to here for the rest of the year?
I expect 5 this week.
Nah. 5 and a goose egg.
No, and that's obviously one of our team goals. Protect the football, create turnovers. And, if both units are doing those 2 things, then we got a pretty good shot at that game.
Anything surprised you about these athletes on the defensive side of the ball when you got here to Tiffin?
No, I was excited to work with them. I feel like we've got some really good athletes. I think we've got a nice balance. We've got 3 or 4 older guys that are doing a great job in leadership who have played a lot of football, but we're also pretty young, so I think we've got a great balance and excited about not only this season, the future, and everything we've got here, because we've got a great core to be good for not only this year, for a long time.
You have a lot of youth, but depth. There's some depth on that defensive side of the ball. It wasn't there when we first got here. Coach Goff and I's first game were at the same time, so I always talk about that. But you got depth that you can play with a little bit here. Does that allow you to do a few extra things maybe you could have done in the past because of fresh bodies and things of that nature?
You know, we'd love to play 22 guys a game. You know, we'd love having 2 deep that was playing all the time. You know, we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. But depth at those key positions, allowing our guys to play fresh and hopefully make those plays in the third or fourth quarter.
Coach Goff, you had your defense coordinator Mike Yeager here talking to us, and is there a different intensity or something he brings to the practice that wasn't there before, maybe on the day-to-day that maybe sparks a little bit in the defense that maybe, like I said, maybe wasn't there? Everybody's different, and those defensive coordinators always seem to be like the goofy ones. So is there something different that he brings to the table?
We're laughing right now because we know Edwards very well.
Yeah, great.
You know, no, not really. I mean, to be honest, you know, I trust him with half the team. You know, I'm down there coaching offense. He's coaching defense. You know, we're fortunate on that side of the ball. He's got some great coaches on that side of the ball. We got a great staff. I expect everybody to be the head coach of their unit, you know, per se. But, you know, he's down there getting after them just like they've always been got after. And then, you know, of course, we got Coach Stalker and Coach Daughtery. I mean, Coach Dukes. I mean, they're doing their job. And, you know, when we feel a lull in practice, it's our job as coaches to get them fired up and back, you know, practicing hard and getting after it. But, you know, not really. But at the same time, I'm not sitting down there watching him my whole life because I'm working myself. But, no, the kids have really, you know, responded to him. You know, I thought we played very well. And, you know, I was tired of seeing him in camp. I was glad when camp was over so I could stop going against our defense because, you know, it creates problems. It really does.
Well, you're working with the defense coach Yeager here at Tiffin University, and you know, this new conference, new opponents. You know, some familiar teams, but there's some good quality opponents on this schedule. It's going to offer a lot of different, I guess, challenges for your defense. That goes to the mental makeup of your kids. Those kids pretty strong-willed on your defensive side of the ball, strong-minded kids that you know that you can implement new things every week and they're going to soak it in right away.
Yeah, no, I think we've got a great group. You know, the last 2 days have been challenging. You know, it's been really, really hot. I think our guys have responded well to that adversity, and we've had 2 good practices, which is important in our preparation for Mercyhurst. So we're going to need all that toughness and that response on Saturday because we're going against a good offense on Saturday.
Good football team. Mercyhurst will take care of them on Saturday at 12 noon over in Erie, Pennsylvania. Coach, anything else here for your defensive coordinator, Coach Mike Yeager?
No, we're excited to line up and got a big challenge ahead of us this weekend, and we'll see where the cards fall.
We'll tell everybody about the Great Midwest Digital Network. That's where our game is broadcast over the weekend. It's an app. All you got to do is search out Great Midwest. It's available on Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire Stick, as well as Android streaming devices. And you can catch all Tiffin University athletics, everything we've ever broadcast in the past and the future. It's a really cool setup. You can see we have our game broadcast up here on the screen, and it's a pretty neat thing being here part of this Great Midwest Conference, Great Midwest Athletic Conference. I'm really enjoying my time here so far, and I hope you guys are able to enjoy your time with it as well.
Yeah, I heard a lot of great things about it. A lot of my family watch it. A lot of our players' families that couldn't make the game watch. I heard some great things about it, so it looks nice.
I'm hoping that Wayne State will let us do it from up there. Keep your fingers crossed. Maybe they'll let us do a video broadcast up there. Well, this is the Gary Goff Show. It's every Wednesday night, 6:30 to 7 here at the Wall Street Pub and Grill. 50-cent ring nights. As we said, the game this Saturday at 12 noon. You can catch a radio broadcast at tudragonradio.com as well as at Coast Country FM 100.9. Coach, again, great job. 1-0 now. Let's come back and talk about it again next week being 2-0.
Absolutely.
All right, this has been the Gary Goff Show here live from the Wall Street Pub and Grill. Make sure you come join us next week and get more information on Tiffin University football by going to GoTiffinDragons.com and more information on Tiffin University by going to tiffin.edu. Till next week, have a great night, everybody. Be safe. We'll catch you next time on the Tiffin University Dragon Radio Network.